The bombardment was scheduled to begin in 4 hours. Lieutenant Oliver Black consulted his watch for the 5th time in the last hour. The word had come down from HQ. They would definitely be going over the top at precisely 11 minutes after 9 o'clock, following a 4-hour artillery barrage starting at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was just 1 o'clock now. He looked around the bomb-proof. No one was asleep. He wondered if sleep was even possible. The general opinion in the company was that the push would gain no ground, the shells would mostly fall in no man's land and not on the German machine-gun nests, and that several thousand more British soldiers would die for no clear reason. No doubt, Black thought, General Haig knew why they were doing this. There was undoubtedly some grand strategic reason for slaughtering a few more battalions. Whatever that reason was, it hadn't filtered down to his level. The captain knew nothing, which meant that Black knew less than nothing. Captain Knowles had been around a few hours ago. He was full of enthusiasm for going on the offensive, taking the battle to the Boche, and that sort of thing. Black hadn't believed him for a minute. Captains were just as likely to be shot going over the top as any private soldier. Perhaps more likely, for German snipers like to pick off the officers first, and the more senior, the better. Black had taken care of the necessities. He had brought his will up to date. It was the prudent thing to do, for the chances he would still be alive after the battle were hardly worth mentioning. He really didn't have much to leave. A few books, clothing, odds and ends, and a bank account with barely £18 in it. Would all go to his sister Edith. His parents would get some mementos, his official papers, such as they were, and, if they were lucky, his body to bury. It would require a bit of luck for that, he thought. After the last push, which Black conceded might have moved the front line 20 or 30 yards closer to Germany at the cost of 14,387 dead, the number of unidentifiable bodies had been appalling. Not just missing identity discs, but men with no faces, collections of limbs that couldn't be matched to limbless torsos, and some who had been too close to an exploding shell and were little more than fragments of shredded uniform and flesh. A lot of them might have died in one piece, but they weren't that way after the battle was over. He had written 2 letters to Alice, his lady friend. Both were safely lodged in the company HQ, where Captain Knowles Clark, who would remain at HQ and so presumably survive the battle, would post one or the other of them after it was all over. Should Black survive, the clerk would post the optimistic, "We shall certainly prevail in our quest and return safely home to those we love" letter, and return the other to Lieutenant Black. If he did not survive, Alice would receive the other one, and the optimistic letter would be burnt. A similar pair of letters had been written to his mother and to his sister. It was common practice. He had written only one letter to his father, and it had already been posted. His father commanded a battle cruiser, presently moored at Scapa Flow in the Orkneys, so far as Black was aware. His father wouldn't need the optimistic, pessimistic, alternative version. In 27 years at sea he had seen it all. With all this taken care of, there was little to do but fret and perhaps try to get a little sleep. Very little, he suspected, for once the artillery barrage started it would be much too noisy to sleep. Black stood up and walked slowly to the door of the bomb-proof. He thought the shelters to be ill-named. Log structures, constructed along the rear wall of a trench. They were roofed with heavy logs, or timbers, then covered with several feet of earth. The roof would stop a rifle bullet or even a light shell, but if the Germans decided to unleash one of their 105mm howitzers, or something heavier, the shell would almost certainly penetrate the roof, explode inside the bomb-proof, and leave the medical personnel to try to separate the body parts from the other debris that was left.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.